Welcome to the Hollywood Outsider, an award-winning weekly entertainment podcast. In this episode, it's time for our fall and holiday movie preview. We take you through each and every month remaining in 2023 and discuss every major theatrical release coming your way. And yes, some of them will end up on streaming as well as some indies and streaming originals to keep your eye out for. Get ready to make plans because it's now time for our 2023 fall and holiday movie preview. My name's Aaron Peterson. Joining me today are my fellow hosts, John Davenport.
Hey, buddy. How you doing today?
Wonderful. And Troy Heinrichs.
Pumpkin turkey, ho, ho, ho.
Remember, you can always find more information at thehollywoodoutsiders.com or find us on our social medias like @BuyPopcorn. We have a Facebook group, The Hollywood Outsider. It's a private group. You got to look for it, but there's a lot of fun conversations there. Guys, it's time for fall and holiday movie preview. We kind of crammed it into one thing because really, holiday starts in November and ends at the end of December anyway, so why not just make one episode?
That sounds good to me. That's less shows that we have to do.
Yeah, let's be lazier, right? That's the dream.
That's the whole thing of America now, right? It's all about me, 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 me.
It's true. It's true. And you know what? Everybody else on strike. Can we be on strike? I don't know.
No, they're relying on us to be independent content creators and providing independent thought analysis.
I like it. All right. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to go through each week through New Year's Eve. And we'll tell you what's coming out, what it's about, and then we'll kind of discuss if we're excited about this. So whenever you guys are ready, like whenever you feel like the juices are flowing, like you're intrigued, you're interested, you want to go to the cinema. John's been talking for 20 seconds and been muted. Doesn't even realize it. So that's fascinating.
Because, if he had anything actually intelligent to say, then he might actually unmute himself. But he's just realizing right now that he's just not going to contribute because intelligent is the key word.
I don't know what he's talking about, man. Because I can make words really good. Yeah.
I don't know why a goddamn Wookiee had to be here. But anyway, all right. So September 22nd. That's what we're going to start with. Expendables. Expendables? Or Expendables 4, but it's one of those clever titles where they throw the 4 in where the A is, because then it's kind of a new thing, but not really.
Is it really clever? Because it doesn't sound like horrible rhyme.
Stop it! You do not shit on this series, man.
I'm not shit. I'm just. It's an interesting artistic choice.
Shit
that's
on
all.
the series. Go for it.
Don't.
I'm sure they'll make the S a 5 after this one does nothing.
No, it'll be Expendables with the S as a 5.
Expendalive. Yeah.
It's a new generation of stars. They join the world's top action stars for an adrenaline-fueled adventure in Expendables. Reunited as the team of elite mercenaries, Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Randy Couture, and Sylvester Stallone are joined for the first time by 50 Cent, Megan Fox, Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, and a bunch of other guys, including Andy Garcia, by the way. Armed with every weapon they can get their hands on and the skills to use them, the Expendables are the world's last line of defense and a team that gets called when all other options are off the table. But new team members with new styles and tactics are going to give new blood a whole new meaning. And this is supposed to be the film where Jason Statham takes over as the star because Sylvester Stallone is kind of pulling back. He's not doing another one of these.
Oh, yeah, because he's like, I got to do another one with Dolph? Come on.
Could be. Dumb Money's the other one, September 22nd. Tells the story of fortunes won and lost overnight in the GameStop short squeeze that may have ended up changing Wall Street forever. This is a fascinating film that they're making, and I can't wait to see what it's.
Pick me. That's my pick for the week.
Yeah, that's a solid pick, honestly.
Or I could just finish what else is coming out, but whatever. Just go ahead and spoiler alert the whole way. Paw Patrol, they're getting a movie. The Mighty Pups is happening. When a magical meteor, I can't even say this with a straight face. A magical meteor crash lands in Adventure City. It gives the Paw Patrol pups superpowers, transforming them into the Mighty Pups. For Sky, the smallest member of the team, her new powers are a dream come true. But things take a turn for the worse when the pups' arch rival, Humdinger, breaks out of jail and teams up with Victoria Vance, a meteor-obsessed mad scientist to steal his superpowers and turn themselves into supervillains. I don't know why I'm reading this like 90s erotic fiction. With the fate of Adventure City hanging in the balance, the mighty pups have to stop the supervillains before it's too late. And Sky will need to learn that even the smallest pup can make the biggest difference. Wow.
Because size doesn't matter.
I wasn't interested until you read it like that. Now I can't miss it.
I know. Woof.
I'm just like, this is, they made the choice to put this in the theater rather than go straight to streaming with this one.
Dude, it'll be huge. These kind of movies are huge. They're huge. Yep. No One Will Save You on Hulu introduces Bryn Adams, Caitlin Dever, a creative and talented young woman who's been alienated from her community. And by the way, Caitlin Dever is a wonderful actress on Justified, Troy, if you'd ever get to season 2. Anyway.
I didn't have to get to season 2. I was only told I had to watch the first one.
It's true, but she's great in season 2. This young woman is lonely but ever hopeful, and Bryn finds solace within the walls of her home where she grew up until she's awakened one night by strange noises from a decidedly unearthly intruders. What follows is an action-packed face-off between Bryn and a host of extraterrestrial beings who threaten her future while forcing her to deal with her past. Oh, no. Okay.
For the record, I do know who Caitlin Dever is.
Okay.
Because she was in Booksmart, and she was in Dear Evan Hansen, and she's amazing as an actress. And I think she's going to go really far.
I hope she does. And also, Dope Sick, if you've never seen it, amazing work. It's way better than the other Painkiller, whatever the version was that hit Netflix. Lastly,
she has to be like a baby, though, if she was in season 2 of Justified.
She was young. She was like a teenager. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's great. She was a powerful actress in that. Spy Kids Armageddon's last one that's going to reinvent that wheel. When the children of the world's greatest super agents unwittingly help a powerful game developer unleash a computer virus that gives them control of all technology, they must become spies themselves to save their parents and the world. Directed, of course, by Robert Rodriguez, and stars Zachary Levi and Gina Rodriguez. And that bad boy is on Netflix.
Oh, so that's how that'll work, because this will be on Netflix. Paw Patrol will be in the theater, so there's not competition directly.
Well, there's a bunch of theater movies. Dumb Money and Expendables are also in the theater. So,
I mean, kids-wise, like if I have to choose to go to a theater for my kids, I don't have to choose between these two movies because I can see both in the same weekend.
You could if you want to spend that much quality time with your kids. Sure.
Well, I'm putting them in front of the TV. Am I really spending quality time with them?
So, do you guys have a pick here that you'd really want to see them more than others?
Dumb Money for that weekend, for sure.
Yeah, Dumb Money for sure.
Why that one in particular?
Because it was, I mean, when you think about the whole Robin Hood thing and just stocks and the fact that this was actually something that was able to like completely screw over a whole bunch of people and just going against the system, it's an interesting story that it happened and we actually saw it and lived it. So to then take that and turn it into an art form so quickly as a movie, I think it's very, very, very exciting to see how they're actually going to portray it. And if it's going to go super dark, if it's going to go super like, I'm going to break their legs because they pissed off all these Wall Street people, or if it's going to be a comedy, I just don't know what to expect from it. It's just going to be interesting.
I want to see it because for a lot of what Troy says, but boiling it down to the more simpler facts is that this is the first time that we as retail investors were able to take advantage of something that the more the more entrenched investors have been taking advantage of for years. They've been able, this is the first time where retail investors were able to come in, adjust the market in a certain way that they benefited from, whereas those people who are making decisions behind the curtains had no control over what was happening. And I want to see that story
again.
Yeah, again,
because we did just see it, live.
Yeah, speaking of just seeing it, I just rewatched all 3 of the Expendables movies, and I'm definitely going to see Expendables 4, and I'll see Dumb Money too. I mean, it is intriguing for sure, and I love the idea, but man, I love the Expendables movies. They're just dumb fun. They're just dumb and they're fun.
Is there a reason why Terry Crews can't come back for these?
He elected not to because he has a problem with one of the producers that is still associated with it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. He After Me Too and everything happened, there was an issue he had with one of them, and he said, I'm not coming back if they're still involved, and they still are. So that's that. Which is too bad, because Terry Crews, I think, should be the star of this. I mean, I enjoyed the hell out of him.
He's great.
He was so good in those movies. All right, coming out September 29th, Flora and Son. Single mom Flora, played by Eve Hewson, this is for Apple TV, by the way, is at a loss of what to do with her rebellious teenage son, Max. Encouraged by the police to find Max a hobby, Flora tries to occupy him with a beat-up acoustic guitar. And with the help of washed-up L.A. musician Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Flora and Max discover the transformative power of music. From the musical mind of John Carney, Flora and Son explores the bond between a mother and son on a journey toward a new harmony. This feels like a Troy movie all the way, if you know Troy.
Why not?
What's that?
Why not?
Yeah, just seems like it. Saw X, John Kramer is back. We don't really know how, but it's like it's supposed to take place before Saw 3. This is Saw fucking 10, but it's supposed to take place before Saw 3. When the dude died.
That's pretty funny.
I just don't. He doesn't even look close to the age he was in Saw 3, but whatever. The most chilling installment of the Saw franchise. Yeah, you got fucking zombies that are, killing people. Anyway, explores the untold chapter of Jigsaw's most personal game. Set between the events of Saw 1 and Saw 2, a sick and desperate John travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes for a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. Oh, yeah. He's going to tear some shit up. Then we've got the creator, Joshua, who's played by John David Washington, a hardened let me try that again. And
Sportial. It's like a spork, but sportialer.
Hate you, Troy. Hate you. A hardened ex-Special Forces agent, grieving the disappearance of his wife, is recruited to hunt down and kill the creator, the elusive architect of advanced AI who has developed a mysterious weapon with the power to end the war and mankind itself. Joshua and his team of elite operatives journey across enemy lines into the dark heart of AI-occupied territory, only to discover the world-ending weapon he's been instructed to destroy is an AI in the form of a young child. And lastly, The Kill Room is a dark comedic thriller following an art dealer played by Uma Thurman who teams with the hitman Joe Manganiello, or Mango Jello as I like to call him, and his boss Samuel L. Jackson for a money laundering scheme that accidentally turns the hitman into an overnight avant-garde sensation, forcing the dealer to play the art world against the underworld. I will say the trailer for that looks really bad and made me really sad because I love everybody involved. But what say you guys? Of all those, is anything flip your cart? I'm just making up new expressions.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and take the creator on this one because it looks gorgeous. It looks amazing. I like the concept and the design work that they're putting into all the different features of it. I'm a little concerned that it's John David Washington because he's not necessarily as strong as a presence on screen as his father, but at the same time, I'll give him a chance.
Yeah, I will say it's directed by Gareth Edwards too. So.
Oh, well, never mind. I just took back everything I said. This is going to be awesome.
And I'll take the Daily Double, Alex, because I'll go creator as well. And I have no qualms whatsoever about John David Washington not being as great as his dad because I don't compare. I just enjoy the art for what it is.
Shut up, Troy.
But I will check out Flora and Son because it's also on Apple TV since John and I are subscribing for the rest of our lives.
Apparently. I hate you, Apple.
And you're always someone who talks about music and especially influential music and inspirational.
Yeah, we were
music.
actually, I was just talking to somebody the other day, a TikTok of a guy playing guitar, and it was just like, I immediately went and flashed back to August Rush. Like, if you've not seen August Rush, that movie is choice. Super
not
good.
How I thought that was going to be the end, but okay.
Don't make it weird, John. You just make it weird. October 6th, Foe. Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal star in Foe, a haunting exploration of marriage and identity set in an uncertain world. Hannon Jr. farm a secluded piece of land that has been in Jr.'s family for generations, but their quiet life is thrown into turmoil when an uninvited stranger shows up at the door with a startling proposal. Oh my.
Saoirse Ronan's amazing.
Foe's mesmerizing imagery and persistent questions about the nature of humanity and artificial humanity bring the not-too-distant future to luminous life. So I think there's a little bit more of a sci-fi twist to this. We'll find out when it comes out. Freelance is an export special forces operative stuck in a dead-end desk job. It's John Cena, my God. Reluctantly takes on a gig to provide private security for a washed-up journalist in Alison Brie as she interviews a ruthless but impeccably dressed dictator. When a military coup breaks out, she's just about to get the scoop of a lifetime, but the unlikely trio must figure out how to survive the jungle, the assassins, and each other in order to make it out alive. My God. There's so much stuff coming out this particular week. I saw the trailer for Freelance. It looks really stupid, but entertaining.
Well, it's John Cena and Alison Brie. That's a combination that has to win.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that Alison Brie is getting a more bigger budget opportunity. How about that? She's a talented actress that seems to only do indie movies, so it's good to see her break out and do something a little bigger.
She was on Annie. She was Annie, right? On Community?
Yes.
Yeah, she's funny.
I know that.
She's great.
Yeah, nobody's doubting that. She's also a good actress, man. What is the movie she did with her husband? The Rental, which is with Dave Franco directed it. He's actually, her husband is Dave Franco. Great movie. She's wonderful in it. You should check that out if you're a fan of Alison Brie. Priscilla, the love story of Priscilla and Elvis Presley. Sure, it's a Sofia Coppola movie, so, if you're into her. Reptiles, following the brutal murder of a young real estate agent, a hard detective attempts to uncover the truth in a case where nothing is as it seems, and doing so dismantles the illusions of his own life, starring Benicio del Toro. That one's on Netflix. The Exorcist Believer, that's right, we've got The Exorcist back. David Gordon Green is going to ruin another treasured franchise, just like he did Halloween. He is creating apparently another trilogy, and this time a father, played by Leslie Odom Jr., tracks down Chris McNeil, played by Ellen Bernstein, after his child becomes possessed. Because you know what she needs? She needs to be tortured some more after her poor daughter Reagan went through hell. Damn it. Leave these people alone. Lastly, for October 6th, The Marsh King's Daughter. In this tense thriller, The Marsh King's Daughter, a woman with a secret past will venture into the wilderness she left behind to confront the most dangerous man she's ever met, which was her father. And that woman is Helena, and she's played by Daisy Ridley. And her dad is the Marsh King, Ben Mendelsohn. And he kept her and her mother captive in the wilderness for years.
Sold.
What part of that description sold you? That's what I want to know. Or it's just the Daisy Ridley part, or Ben Mendelsohn?
Ben Mendelsohn, but Daisy Ridley doesn't hurt.
So that's your, all those movies, and I got to say, yeah, that's where I'm leaning too. Maybe Reptile, because I like Benicio del Toro. I mean, he's always.
It's a great week. That's a great week for movies. Freelance looks like it'd be a lot of fun. Reptile does look good. I'm even fascinated by The Exorcist Believer, even though that guy has a terrible track record.
Maybe like Foe sounds like the most interesting of these. Freelance could be fun. Marsh King definitely gives it that like closure of like a good epic saga type story.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but still before trick or treat time, I can probably get 2 or 3 of these in that weekend.
So I'm not the only one who doesn't care about The Exorcist Believer.
What's The Exorcist?
It's a scary movie. He doesn't do scary movies, Aaron.
There was a scary movie way back in the day when I was a child.
Yeah, that one.
That one. That doesn't really hold up that well now.
Mm-mm.
That was the only one I needed. That was good.
I mean, I can't really argue that. I don't get into possessions or demons or ghosts. Like, none of that stuff scares me. The Exorcist, I find to be very trite. Always have, not just recently. I mean, when I was a kid, it's my mother's favorite horror movie. And I love my mother. Anybody listen for a long time? I love my mother. She's my favorite person in the whole wide world.
I don't believe you.
You can go straight to hell. But The Exorcist is her favorite horror movie. And she wanted me to watch it as soon as I, came to love horror movies as she does. And I could never get into it. I just couldn't. And David Gordon Green had the opportunity to do something really cool when he reinvented the Halloween series. and I thought maybe he would do something intriguing with the ending, and he did something different and unique. Unfortunately, it was really poorly done, and so I have very little faith in this reinvention, sadly.
Also, isn't this a reimagining of the reimagining of the reimagining by now?
I think so. I think we should just call it The Exorcist Reimagined.
It'd probably sell better.
It would. The only good thing about that movie is Leslie Odom Jr. is a great actor who I wish would find something that fits his skill set.
Can we just call it pea soup? Now organic?
Wow.
Too far.
Yeah. See, there's a line. You jumped right over it. Let's go to October 13th with Ordinary Angels. Oh, our boy is back. Alan Ritchson and Hilary Swank star in this bad boy. Set against the worst snowstorm in Kentucky history, the film was inspired by the incredible true story of a struggling hairdresser, played by Hilary Swank, who single-handedly rallies an entire community to help a widowed father, played by Alan Ritchson, save the life of his critically ill young daughter. Now, that would be great. It would be wonderful. I would be so happy if this movie's a hit. It's not going to happen because it's coming out against Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour, which means the phenomenon that is Taylor Swift continues now on the big screen. This is an amazing story because Taylor Swift just basically said, dual middle fingers to the studios, and I'm going to go to the theaters directly with the film that I shot, and I'm going to work out my own deal. You're not going to carry my movie, and I'm going to sell it directly to the theaters for this exclusive event. And she's already planned, like, she's going to have $100 million weekend already. Unheard of for a concert film. Unheard of.
Which is why Ordinary Angels will be fine, because you can't get a ticket that weekend to see Taylor Swift because it's already sold out.
I'm sure you can still get a ticket, but it's very smart marketing, man. And you got to give her, a lot of people hate on Taylor Swift, and I'm not a fan of her music, but you got to respect the game. I mean, she's definitely playing the game better than anybody else.
I got to say, it's likely or possible that a lot of the parents that drive their kids to go see the Taylor Swift thing, will then go see Ordinary Angels.
True. The parents are going to go see Taylor Swift too. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, the ladies love her.
The guys love her. Everybody loves her.
Guys love her.
Her concert made like $1.4 billion. She's an apple.
She is her own country.
It's amazing. I can't even speak to it. When I first heard about this, I was just in shock. Now, some people are claiming it's going to be the biggest movie of the year. You're wrong. That's not going to happen. It's not going to beat Barbie at the box office, but it's going to do exceptionally well. It's going to do phenomenally well. And I bet it costs her very minimal in terms of, expenses. And she's basically splitting the grosses direct with the theaters, Regal and AMC. And I think she made other deals too. But instead of going through a studio, she elected to do this herself. And so she's getting like 40% of the gross of whatever these things make. It's amazing to me. Amazing. Good for her. Yeah, happy for her.
Totally off the chain.
Yep. But my pick will be Ordinary Angels because you can't use A-list for the Taylor Swift concert. Right. Otherwise, I'd go. I'm not gonna lie, I'd go. Hey, and remember, our podcast is independently funded, and therefore all expenses come out of our own pockets, and patrons help support this show. Patrons help the world go round with the Hollywood Outsiders. We really appreciate all your support. That's patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You get bonus content, including Bad Movie Night. Once a month, we look at a movie that critics or fans didn't like, but we think is actually pretty good movie. And then we talk about why we think that is. As well as we have a bonus episode every month that varies month to month. Sometimes we answer whatever your questions or topics are. Sometimes it's something random. It really depends on what we feel like doing that month. And also, we haven't talked about it in a little bit. We've had some new supporters I want to make sure and mention. So thank you so much once again to supporting us through patreon.com/The Hollywood Outsider. Gary Smith, you are a shooting star, sir. So welcome aboard. I appreciate all the support. Steve Barris, I know you're pretty active on X, formerly known as Twitter. And you're definitely a screenwriter now at The Hollywood Outsider. Thanks so much for all your support. And Nate Trulio, I hope I said your name right. I really, really do. You run the studio. So we'll be in touch because a couple of you have bonus options. So we'll be reaching out to you. So make sure to check Patreon in the near future for those comments because you can get different perks from different tiers. So thanks everybody for that support. And if you want to support the show and get bonus content, patreon.com/thehollywoodoutsider. And if you join now, you'll actually get part of the bonus episode for the month of September is a sneak peek at an upcoming new podcast from the Hollywood Outsider. Yeah, it's coming. And in the future, when that podcast launches, patrons at the Hollywood Outsider will get episodes of that podcast first. It's very inspiring. You know what I'm saying? Patrons get the joke. All right, let's move on. October 20th, Killers of the Flower Moon is the big release. That's based on David Grann's broadly lauded best-selling book, Kings of the Killer Moon. Is set in 1920s Oklahoma and depicts the serial murders of members of the oil-wealthy Osage Nation as a string of brutal crimes that came to be known as the Reign of Terror. And, of course, stars Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, and is directed by Martin Scorsese. This will also be on Apple at some point, but it's going to play in theaters first. It's getting a theater launch. And I think the movie's going to be 3.5 hours. And I kind of want to know, do you guys want to see this, or would you wait till you know it'll be on Apple in like a month? Be honest.
I don't mind a 3.5 hour movie. I need to pee. Just give me a time to go pee.
They're not going to give you an intermission.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
We gave one for Gone with the Wind back in the day. Why is it any different?
Because it was 1939, Troy. That was 1939.
Our bladders are worse today than they were back then.
It's probably true. I do think you need an intermission in a movie that long, though.
You need an intermission.
Yeah.
Especially for these longer movies. Yeah, I'm down for that. I don't know. The subject matter of it is a very fascinating subject matter, and I would love to sit down and give it a chance, but I don't know if I need to see this in the theater.
I'm going to go and see it when it releases, just because I think it'll probably be better suited to cinemas. But I got to admit, man, that's a long way to go. And I don't get why they keep giving Martin Scorsese like $200 million to make a movie. He hasn't made a hit movie in a long time, but he keeps getting the money just because of his name and Leonardo DiCaprio.
So I have a real question.
Oh boy.
Okay. Who saw Dune in the theater versus who saw Dune on HBO Max?
I saw Dune in the theater.
I saw it on Max.
Okay. So I saw it on Max as well.
Mm-hmm.
My question is, would I have enjoyed Dune more had I been in the theater, forced to be captivated by the screen?
Nope.
Versus where I was at the house, sitting on my couch, going like, I'm kind of bored looking at my watch. I can go look at my Lego sets or look at the computer or do other things. So like, if I stay at home for Killers of the Flower Moon, like, will I not like it as much because I may be distracted because it's long and drawn out? Or would I actually find it more interesting because I have to literally pay attention the entire 3.5 hours?
I mean, I think even though it's 3.5 hours, Scorsese's pretty good with pacing. He just makes longer movies, but he keeps the pacing up, I believe.
Right.
And it's a fascinating concept. I saw Dune in the theater. You and I felt very similar about how boring it was. It was visually stunning. And in a theater, I think it visually pops. It didn't make me like the movie anymore.
Yeah, no, my problem with Dune was that they chose a really weird spot to decide that's the end of the movie. So it was another one of these where it's building to a climax and then it just stops.
But you knew that going in.
Well, yeah. I might have, but it's still...
My issue was that this was the weird place for them to start the story. Like, it would have been like George Lucas said, hey, let's go ahead and do the Phantom Menace first versus A New Hope.
How is this all about Dune? That's what I want to know.
I wonder if I would have liked Dune better if I had no other distractions.
Well, I do think this movie will probably play better in a theater, if that's what you're asking. I think this kind of movie. I think Dune...
Well, any movie plays better in the theater.
I agree with you, 1,000%. Dune did not, though, because it's all spectacle. I don't think the story is strong enough. That's my problem with that one. This one, I believe the story is going to be captivating, which means it'll be more engrossing to see it in a theater, and you won't want to get up. Like those are the kind of movies I love, where I don't want to get out of my seat and pee because I'm afraid I'm going to miss something.
But I'm going to have to pee because then I'm going to be forced to make a decision of not getting a drink.
Or you just reuse the cup, recycle.
We're really just overthinking this at this point.
I think
3.5 hours is a long time because it's really 4 hours because of the trailers in the front end.
Well, then you just go, you drink real quick during the trailers, then you go pee, then you come back and you're good. You didn't miss anything.
Maybe get your prostate checked before you go.
Or do that.
Like this one should talk, who has to pee between 2 recordings of a podcast.
Or drink a lot more water.
I drink a lot of water, sir. I drink a lot of water.
So do I. This is what 3 years from now looks like. Like, I'll stay where I'm at. Thanks.
Yeah, good point. I'm with you.
I didn't mention Lily Gladstone's in this, and her work is supposed to be spectacular. So I'm looking forward to definitely seeing
Everybody's seeing it because it's the only thing coming out that weekend.
No, you
Sure.
got 5 Minute Freddy's also, right?
No, that's the following weekend. And
Oh,
that's
the following
October
weekend.
27th.
Because it's Halloween.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. But this one you can see in theaters or on Peacock. It's actually one of those dual launches. Mike Schmidt, who's played by Josh Hutcherson, is a troubled security guard, starts a nighttime job at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a once successful abandoned family entertainment center, where he discovers its 4 animatronic mascots move and kill anyone that is still there after midnight. This is based on a video game, Troy?
Yes.
Yes.
John? Yes? One of
Also
you?
based on either Showbiz Pizza Place or Chuck E. Cheese. Take your pick.
What's the game about?
The game is literally that. You literally sit in the security office and you only have so much power left in the evening. And so you have to like turn on the cameras to make sure that the animals aren't coming into the security office to kill you.
Okay. All right.
It's a clever game. It's actually really good strategic wise. Does it make a good movie? I don't know.
The trailer's not selling me. I got to be honest. John, you love puppets. Are you excited about puppet killers?
Animatronics. They're not puppets.
They're animatronics. Those are a completely different thing, and they're
Of course they
abominations.
are.
However, it does interest me. I just am not that excited about it. I'm not a big fan of the game because I never played it, and so there's nothing really holding me down for this one. But hey, Peacock did a really good job with not Full Throttle,
Twisted
the other
Metal?
one. Yeah, that one, Twisted Metal. So why not give it a try?
Full Throttle. Also coming out on October
I wish they did
27th
Full Throttle.
on Netflix. Pain Hustlers. Upon losing her job, a blue-collar woman struggling to raise her daughter takes a job at a failing pharmaceutical startup only to get involved in a dangerous racketeering scheme. Stars Chris Evans, who just got married, by the way. Congratulations, Chris.
Congratulations, Chris. I know you listen to the show. Hey, man, good job, brother.
Yep.
Nailed that.
America's
a good one.
ass is off the market.
Right.
And Emily Blunt.
I'm completely sold. Yeah.
Sold.
Mm-hmm.
Sold.
She really, can we agree? I mean, Chris Evans is definitely a selling point, but Emily Blunt is at the point where I don't care what it is. If her name's there, I'm watching it.
Right.
When we
agree?
talk about, is the movie star dead? I think Emily Blunt is becoming a movie star.
Man, she is on fire. Like I don't know what happened, but probably about 5 or 6 years ago, she just started picking projects way better. Or I don't know what changed, but the
She worked with
choices
Tom
she's
Cruise. Tom Cruise said, "This is how you become a movie star."
made. Maybe. It might be. All right, November 3rd. Here are the films coming out. There's 3 of them coming out November 3rd. What Happens Later? That one actually moved. Actually, 2 movies moved off of October 20th because of Taylor Swift, by the way. The Exorcist movie moved up a week because, and Jason Blum had a great tweet where he put it out and said, "You made me do this," or whatever, which is hysterical. And then the Meg Ryan movie that I'm going to talk about in a second moved to November 3rd. So that's the other one. What Happens Later is about 2 ex-lovers, Bill, David Duchovny, and Willa. Meg Ryan, who's making her return to rom-com, and she directed this as well, gets snowed in at a regional airport overnight. Indefinitely delayed, Willa, who's a magical thinker, and Bill, a catastrophic one, find themselves just as attracted to and annoyed by each other as they did decades earlier. But as they unpack the riddle of their mutual past and compare their lives to the dreams they once shared, they begin to wonder if their reunion is mere coincidence or something more enchanted.
Here's a hint. It's coincidence, you dummies.
Wow.
I
So
guess I don't have to see that one now.
Captain Buzzkill showed up. And honestly, this is better in November than it would have been in October. I think this is a better slot, honestly.
Yeah.
This one is going to be on Netflix tentatively for November 3rd, so the date might change. But it's Sly. For nearly 50 years, Sylvester Stallone has entertained millions of iconic characters and blockbuster franchises. From Rocky to Rambo to The Expendables, this retrospective documentary offers an intimate look at the Oscar-nominated actor, writer, director, producer, paralleling his inspirational underdog story with an indelible characters he has brought to life. And I got to say, all the work he's done, I still feel like he's underappreciated.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Especially because Demolition Man wasn't anywhere in this description.
Right. There's that. Although I got to say, so Netflix did the Arnold Schwarzenegger thing.
Yeah.
Now they're releasing the Sly thing. If they do a Bruce Willis thing, they have the Planet Hollywood trifecta.
They do. Yeah. And they should do a Bruce Willis thing.
Yeah, they really should.
I just don't know if they can do it right now because
he can't really, say words.
Wow. Okay. Goddamn. Moving on.
Well, what I find interesting about this is that taking the swing to do a documentary like this before they die versus. What did I say?
No,
not you. It was me. And Aaron's just kidding.
I'm just catching up and trying to catch myself. Go ahead, Troy. I'm listening.
I find it interesting that they're making this kind of a documentary before someone passes away versus, like, is that an interesting thing to like see something about someone that's still living versus someone that versus like seeing this 5-10 years from now, if Sly were to pass in the near term for some reason.
You be quiet.
I don't know why. I was pushing that out as far as I could. I was like, well, I don't want him to die in 10 years.
Yeah, don't you dare.
I take that back.
National treasure. I want to see
when
one
Sly
on Clint
does
Eastwood
pass away
too.
sometime in the near 50 years from now. Would you want to see a documentary 10 years after he passes? Look, there we go. That's a little better.
I mean, his face is literally what's going to keep him alive at this point. None of the rest of him is real, and barely his face is.
Oh, guy, it's so hard to watch walk. It's just like
it was hard to watch him run in the first Expendables. It was like, oh my god, you could take lessons from Harrison Ford.
I think he just I think he just finds he actually shoots on a ramp, so he just has forward momentum because otherwise he can't run.
But the serious question, do you want to see the epitaph of a career before they pass or after they pass?
I really don't know if we can answer a serious question at this point, Troy. I know you've been trying for like the last 3 minutes, but we just keep riffing on the joy that is Sylvester Stallone.
I think his career, I'm happy to expand upon it whenever. And I prefer it if they're alive, if they can speak to their own career. Because I just...
well, that cuts Bruce Willis completely out.
Stop it. I've never been a big fan of those kinds of documentaries that reflect on an actor's career where it's only speculation of other people as to why they did what they did. I love when an actor can actually fill in the blanks.
Well, that's all Bruce Willis has left is speculation at this point.
God damn it. All right, quiz lady. Now you're just being mean. A brilliant but tightly wound game show obsessed young woman, Anne, played by Aquafina.
I think I did Moonlighting.
And her strange train wreck of a sister, Jenny, Sandra Oh, must work together to help cover their mother's gambling debts. When Anne's beloved dog is kidnapped, they set out on a wild cross-country trek to get the cash the only way they know how, by turning Anne into a bona fide game show champion. And that's on Hulu. Those are 3 wildly different films, but I gotta say, I'm kind of happy to see Meg Ryan back. So I'll check out what happens later. And I love David Duchovny. I think he's a funny guy.
I think Quiz Lady could end up being a lot of fun.
Aquafina's always fun, right?
Yeah, and Sandra too. Sandra Oh can bring the funny too.
Yeah. I think this weekend is going to be the weekend that I read a book.
Shit. Fair enough. Oh my God. November 10th, The Killer. After a fateful near miss, an assassin battles his employers and himself on an international manhunt he insists isn't personal. This is on Netflix. It's David Fincher and stars Michael Fassbender. And of course, it's one of those films that debuted, I think, at Venice and got every article. It got a 5-minute standing ovation. And then something else came out and got a 6-minute standing ovation. Can we agree nobody gives a shit how long your standing ovation is if you give it to everybody?
Also, when you see like a near miss assassin battles employers and you're like, haven't we seen this before? Like John Wick.
I think it's impossible for you to answer the question I actually ask. I think it's literally impossible for you to
I didn't want to give a standing ovation any more time than we've already given the standing ovation because no one cares about the standing ovation. So I just moved on.
That's what I'm asking you guys. That's what happened. Like there's so many articles about the standing ovations. And I'm curious, does anyone give a shit about the standing ovation?
No, that's why I moved on. You keep
No, you moved on because, Troy, it's impossible for you to stay on topic. That's all. You've got this joke in the back of your head and you're like just waiting for me to shut up so you can get it in there. That's all it is.
Hey, at least I waited for you to shut up.
It's fair. John,
The
standing
Marvels.
ovations?
No one cares.
I don't give a shit about standing ovations anymore. It was cute when it was Brendan Fraser. He really deserved it. It was something that I thought was great for him. But now that it's everything that is people are doing, oh, we're reporting on the standing ovation part. I'm done. I'm just done.
And then somebody pulls out a camera, and then someone claps weird during it, and then it ruins the whole career for that person.
Right. Speaking of Brendan Fraser.
All right, so back to your point that had nothing to do with the point I was making. Yeah, the assassin thing has been done to death. And just because David Fincher's name's attached, I don't think gives it a pass. So I'll judge it fairly. But he's a great director. Can't argue that. Also coming out, The Marvels. Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Captain Marvel. That's Brie Larson. We talked about her last week. She's supposed to be smiling again. Has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. But unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. When her duties send her to a wormhole linked to a Kree revolutionary, her powers become entangled with that of a Jersey superfan, a.k.a. Miss Marvel. And Carol's estranged niece, now Saber astronaut Captain Monica Rambeau. Together, this unlikely trio must team up and learn to work in concert to save the universe as the Marvels. Okay, big question. Are we on board with the Marvels? This does look more fun than Captain Marvel did.
How long was the standing ovation when this aired?
Well done, Troy.
That was a good joke.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. Now he's going to try to do it every fucking movie I speak of. It's
Exactly.
going to be like the thing where he's going to try
Was
and
this
do
10
it.
minutes? Was this 12 minutes?
Right. I when I was looking
Jeff
at the trailer
Katz.
for this, and especially the way that Miss Marvel ended, with a little bit of a goofiness from
Brie Larson?
Brie Larson, I kept on going Allison Brie, and I'm like, no, that's not right. Anyhow,
That'd be so much better.
would have been so much better. Anyhow, with the way that she seems to be lightening herself up in a lot of her portrayals, I'm interested in seeing how this goes. Besides, I am not watching The Killers or Killer.
Just one killer.
Yeah, just the one.
Yeah.
If it was The Killers, then maybe. I mean, they're great, but
I feel like my Marvel journey ended with Doctor Strange because they showed me John Krasinski and Captain Xavier, Professor Xavier, and like the possibility of what could have been really, really, really awesome. And I'm just never going to get that. So I'm kind of done with the Marvel stuff.
I'm not super excited until I see Deadpool 3.
Right.
Right.
I think everybody will go to that one. Right?
Right.
Agreed?
Agreed.
I'll check this out, though. And what's funny, it's not for Captain Marvel. I like Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. I just find her kind of adorable and infectious in many ways. Like, she just feels like a real fan who found out she's going to be in a Marvel movie. So I like her. I will watch it for her.
I'm interested to see Kamala Khan. I want to see Monica Rambeau. Carol Danvers is fine, and if she wins me over, then she can win me over. But I do remember not being thrilled with the first Captain Marvel at all. So
yeah, I was not a fan of that one. All right, so November 17th. Now we're getting near Thanksgiving. Speaking of, all right, so Please Don't Destroy. It's a story of three childhood friends who live and work together. The trio decides they don't like their lives where they're headed, and they set off to find gold treasure rumored to be buried in the nearby mountain, and that's going to be on Peacock. And Please Don't Destroy is that trio from Saturday Night Live. They do a lot of the little clips there on SNL. Bayard Rustin, the brilliant strategist behind 1963's momentous March on Washington and close advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., dedicated his life to the tireless quest for racial equality, human rights, and worldwide democracy. But as an openly gay black man, he was all but erased from the civil rights movement he helped build. And that will be on Netflix. That sounds fascinating. I don't think cool is the word that you want to use, but I get what you're saying. Sounds pretty cool. Interesting. Intriguing.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. You weren't actually like giving me a hard time for wanting to see it. You were giving me a hard time for using the word cool because it's overused. We talked about that last week and I completely forgot.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, next up is Thanksgiving. dear God, is this an idea that's about 10 years too late? A killer makes his own carving board out of the inhabitants of a town that makes a big annual fuss over the annual Turkey Day. Yes, it's Eli Roth, and it's based on a Grindhouse trailer from over a decade ago. Okay, before I move on and go to the other movies coming out, I just got to ask you, like, isn't it too late for this?
No, I think this is the perfect time for this because the
Grindhouse was in 2007.
That's
why,
great.
Why is it the perfect time for this?
Well, because, like, all right, so if you look at the way that the time was for Grindhouse, it was a great time for Grindhouse to come out because of where we were socially, mentally, all that other stuff. That trailer was one of my favorite parts of the Grindhouse movie because it was hysterical. But now is a good time to really mess with people's sensitivities and to really get them to a point where they're going to try to enjoy themselves. And if they can do that with this, then I'm happy about it because there's going to be a lot of letting go of preconceived notions when it comes to this movie.
I think it's too early for this movie.
Too early? Like these 10 more years?
No, by 1 week.
Oh my God.
We're going to call it Thanksgiving, have it come out on Thanksgiving weekend. That's all I'm saying.
I think they want it to play a little longer than just a couple days. That's probably why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it'd be like Taylor Swift. It would just make a ton of cash in 5 days and be done.
I don't think so. It's Eli Roth directed it, and I don't think it's a very good director.
Right. But also, they're not going to release this movie for Thanksgiving when they likely have something bigger planned for that weekend because it is one of the biggest weekends for movies.
Yeah. Here's Troy's logic. Thanksgiving coming this Christmas.
Right.
That actually would have been funny.
All right. Also coming out, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Years before he would become the tyrannical president of Panem, 18-year-old Cornelius Snow, whatever.
It's basically a young version of Snow, and you get to learn why he becomes a dick.
Yeah, it's an origin story, right?
Yeah.
It's an origin story.
And how he's using the flowers to hide his bad breath and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's about an 18-year-old Snow, whose last hope for his fading lineage, a once proud family that has fallen from grace in a post-war capital, and with the 10th annual Hunger Games fast approaching, the young Snow is alarmed when he is assigned to mentor Lucy Gray Baird, played by Rachel Zegler, the girl tribute from impoverished District 12. So, we're going back to the Hunger Games. This is basically creating a prequel, trying to get people all excited about it. And we also have Trolls band together, which is bringing back Poppy and Branch and another kids movie of the Trolls universe, so everybody can get excited for all of those songs. These are two films I don't care about. And I got to be honest, out of everything coming out, Rustin is the one I want to see the most.
I'm actually most intrigued about Songbirds and Snakes, only because
Why?
The Katniss, if you remember Katniss from the original Hunger Games trilogy,
Who's that?
is also from District 12. And it's why Snow is like so pissed off about the fact that this girl is going to like disrupt the entire thing. So the tie-in to District 12, I think, is going to be interesting to flesh out Snow's character a little bit more. So that's kind of an origin story that I could get behind if you're going to do any kind of universe building.
I want murder and mayhem and Thanksgiving turkey.
So Thanksgiving for you?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
What I kind of want now is a Disney movie with Thanksgiving where the killer makes the carving board of his own inhabitants, but it's like Gaston. Because everybody loves Gaston, and they just flock to Gaston, and Gaston becomes the town. And I think that would be an interesting twist.
Well, no one cuts turkey like Gaston. No one kills people like Gaston.
You see?
Troy, now if you would have
works.
done what Aaron just did, it would have been funnier.
I was setting it up. Okay? I had the idea, and then Aaron brings it home. That's why we're a good team.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's what it was.
You make Aaron look good?
No one makes Aaron look good like Gaston. November 21st, Leo, actor and comedian Adam Sandler, delivers signature laughs in this coming-of-age animated musical comedy about the last year of elementary school as seen through the eyes of a class pet. Jaded 74-year-old lizard Leo, who's sounded by Adam Sandler, has been stuck in the same Florida classroom for decades with this terrarium even, mate turtle.
Heard it both ways.
Bill Burr. What? When he learns he only has 1 year left to live, he plans to escape to experience life on the outside, but instead gets caught up in the problems of his anxious students including an impossibly mean substitute teacher, and ends up being the strangest but most rewarding bucket list ever. This is on Netflix. This feels
that sounds
like,
dark as hell.
It does, and funny. Kind of intriguing. I'm super intrigued.
But were they just completely out of ideas as to why? Like, oh, you're gonna die, and you only have one. You're 74 years old. You have 1 year left. Go live it up. That is pretty freaking dark.
And still
Maybe
intriguing.
it's not, the bucket list thing isn't dark. The lizard's going to end up in a bucket with a turtle in a bucket and dumped into some kind of toilet or whatever.
Stop it, Troy.
See, this is why you get grounded.
Free speech jail for Troy.
Then why does it come out on the 21st and not the 22nd?
Because it's Netflix. It's not a theater. They don't give a shit what you're doing because you're sitting on
family
your
has
ass.
not arrived home from the airport until they're done at the bar on the 22nd to watch this stuff over the weekend. No one's watching it on Tuesday.
I'm pretty sure people watch Netflix every day, Troy. Literally like every day. I watch it almost every day. That or Hulu.
Well, you need to branch out.
Troy's getting cranky. He needs an NAP.
He does. He needs a Snickers. All right, he's starting to look like Ray Liotta, and he's dead. November 22nd, Napoleon is a spectacle-filled action epic that details the checkered rise and fall of the iconic French Emperor Napoleon, who's played by Oscar winner Joaquin Phoenix. Against a stunning backdrop of large-scale filmmaking orchestrated by legendary director Ridley Scott, this film captures Napoleon's relentless journey to power through the prism of his addictive, volatile relationship with his one true love, Josephine, showcasing his visionary military and political tactics against some of the most dynamic practical battle sequences ever filmed. And also Wish, which is a young reader is transported into a mystical world of his favorite series of fantasy books, voiced by Chris Pine, and that's a animated film. And I gotta say, I'm more excited for Wish than I am Napoleon. I just don't get excited for
like
Ridley
French
Scott.
Gladiator.
Clearly, because you don't know that Napoleon's name is Bonaparte.
Right. French Gladiator or cartoon.
You didn't want to give John the opportunity to comment on Bonaparte? Come on.
Yep.
I wasn't going to comment on Bonaparte.
Just go, John. What were you going to say?
I just, like, the options are French Gladiator or animated Never-Ending Story, and I would have to go with animated Never-Ending Story.
Is that really what you got from the trailer?
Yeah,
animated Never-Ending Story?
Well, it's more like, it's just, the trailer looks very good.
Right.
The trailer looks phenomenal. It looks like Disney finally figured itself out again and became Disney once. It looks...
Okay, slow down.
It looks great.
Let's not give him that much credit.
No, it does,
It looks really good.
It looks great.
Bob Iger can't fix that much that quickly.
I disagree.
I totally disagree. Do you remember Raya? I personally liked Raya. A lot of people didn't like Raya. And then there was that Strange World that was strange.
That one was weird.
Like, let's correct the ship here. We're coming off Elemental not doing so good. Let's get a win, Disney. Come on.
That's not true. Elemental, we already said this. Were you not on the show where we said you ended up right? God knows you love to hear it, so you must have heard it. You must just want to hear it again. Elemental ended up being a very big hit. It just took forever to get there, but it did. So there. And it's on Disney Plus when you're listening to this, so you should definitely check it out. If you have
Did you finish it yet or no?
No, I have not yet, but I plan to very soon. By the next time you hear my voice,
the next time
on
I watch
podcast,
one more episode of Justified, you'll have watched Elemental.
Let me know when you finish the fucking episode, and I'll let you know. How about that? Bam. Now here's some stuff I am excited about. May 1st. Nope. December 1st. I'm in summer. I'm already back to summer. I'm
It's
tired
a
of winter.
May-December relationship, I guess.
It is. One of the movies that's made is called May December. December 1st, Candy Cane Lane. Eddie Murphy stars in a holiday comedy, his first holiday comedy, adventure about a man on a mission to win his neighborhood's annual Christmas home decoration contest. After Chris inadvertently makes a deal with a mischievous elf named Pepper to better his chances of winning, she casts a magic spell that brings the 12 days of Christmas to life and wreaks havoc on the whole town. And there's a chance that the holidays will be ruined, of course. It's going to be on Prime, of course. Eileen is set in the early 1960s. A lonely 20-something woman working in a boys' prison outside Boston, is pulled into a very strange crime.
Oh, yeah.
Anne Hathaway and Owen Teague. May through December, 20 years after their notorious tabloid romance gripped the nation, a married couple buckles under the pressure when an actress arrives to do research for a film about their past. That's got Will Ferrell and Natalie Portman. There's a couple more coming out, so I'm just trying to get through them so we can talk about them real quick. Saltburn, struggling to find his place at Oxford University, student Oliver Quick finds himself drawn into the world of the charming and aristocratic Felix Catton, who invites him to Saltburn, his eccentric family's sprawling estate, for a summer never to be forgotten. Stars Barry Keoghan and Rosamund Pike. And lastly, The Bike Riders, which follows the fictional Midwestern Motorcycle Club through the lives of its members. Jodie Comer, oh my God, plays Kathy, a strong-willed member of the Vandals who's married to a wild, reckless bike rider named Benny Austin Butler, and recounts the club's evolution over the course of a decade. It began as a local group of outsiders united by good times, rumbling bikes, and respect for their strong, steady leader, Johnny, played by Tom frickin' Hardy. But as life in the Vandals gets more dangerous, the club threatens to become a more sinister gang. That's a big day at the movies, friends, and I gotta say, it's the tie between Candy Cane Lane, because I love Eddie Murphy, and The Bike Riders for me.
Yeah, my girlfriend's on, so I'm going to watch my girlfriend.
Is that Jodie Comer?
And The Bike Riders. Jodie Comer.
It's my girlfriend.
My girlfriend. You already have J-Lock. You can share the wealth. Okay, come on.
Got Selma Hayek number one.
I'll let you guys argue it out and say I'm just going to stick with Candy Cane Lane.
Really? Why?
It could be fun.
Why are you intrigued by Candy Cane Lane? I'm really surprised because you don't strike me as a big holiday comedy guy.
You know, you keep saying stuff like that, but
because you act like that.
Oh, right, I do, don't I?
Yeah, kind of. Unless it's like Eeyore's Christmas special, maybe.
Well, no, I don't. I don't like Eeyore. So I like Christmas stuff. Believe it or not, I know you don't believe it, but I do like Christmas stuff.
Okay.
I just don't like Christmas.
It makes no sense to me.
It's because everyone sucks. Everyone's great in the movies, but they suck in real life.
You're an interesting dude sometimes.
I mean, like May, December would be interesting. I love Natalie Portman and what she does as an actress, but the Will Ferrell part of it just...
He is really... I mean, he's just so Will Ferrell and everything. You know? Everything. That's on Netflix, too, that May, December one. But I'm hoping if Will Ferrell stretches, if he does something different, would you be more interested?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not goofy, weird, if he can just sink into the character and disappear into the character and not see Will Ferrell, then I'm in.
It's fair. That's fair. All right. December 8th, Leave the World Behind. A family vacation on a Long Island is interrupted by two strangers bearing news of a mysterious blackout. As the threat grows more imminent, both families must decide how to best survive the potential crisis, all while grappling with their own place in this collapsing world. That's Netflix, stars Ethan Hawke, Mahershala Ali, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon. I mean, this is a stacked cast. And it's from Sam Ismail, who did Mr. Robot, right?
Yeah, that looks great.
These are those days, John. You remember when you saw something like this and you were like, is this another Cloverfield? Is this another Cloverfield?
I don't think I've ever said that.
Really? I thought you were a big Cloverfield guy.
I mean, I like it, but I don't sit there and go, is this another one?
Yeah. I think
I missed those days, though, where there was like this anticipation for something creative marketing. I feel like we've lost that since the pandemic.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and back you up on that. I miss stuff like that, but that's way pre-pandemic that we've had less and less good marketing.
Well, everybody's just at home. I mean, it's really just a quick trailer now, right?
Well, it's the, you know, we've been talking about this for a little while, where sometimes trailers, or a lot of times trailers, give out way too much of the story when it would have been better to not have that. You know, there's a lot of that where it's just not the same as it used to be. They don't take the same care as they do constructing that stuff as they used to.
Fair point. December 15th, the origin story nobody needed, Wonka, explores the vivid mythical beginnings of the imaginative young inventor before he becomes a renowned scrumdiddlyumptious Mozart of chocolate, played by Timothée Chalamet. And Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget on Netflix, having pulled up
Great
a
googly.
death-defying escape from Tweety's farm, Ginger has finally found her dream, a peaceful island sanctuary for the whole flock, far from the dangers of the human world. I don't know why it took for like 20 years to make a Chicken Run sequel, but here we are. Neither one of those movies do I care about at all. I think Wonka looks interesting, but I just don't need an origin story for Willy Wonka.
Yeah, I don't really need an origin story for Willy Wonka. So if I hear some good buzz about it, maybe, because it seems like they're going more the
whimsical route, well, the Gene Wilder route.
The Gene Wilder route. So it seems like they're going more the Gene Wilder route than they are going towards the Johnny Depp route. And if that is the case, you have my attention, because I think that darker story with a little bit less of the whimsy is more fascinating. But also, I think the casting is a miss and all that. So this might be a book weekend.
I like all things Wonka, minus the Johnny Depp portion of it, just because it was just too much.
Is there anything else? There's like Willy Wonka and Chocolate Factory, and then
when you read the books, right? The books were good. The Glass Elevator, and
does he kill these children?
Charlie, and
does he kill these children?
Oh.
Did you you brought up the books? He's asking in the books, does he kill children?
In the books, does he kill children?
The children die. They don't die.
You're guessing right now, aren't you? You didn't actually read the book. You're bringing it up
a long time ago. Come on, it's been like 20 years. Remember?
20
Must
years.
Not have been that memorable. All right, December 20th, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. More Aquaman adventures. I think his brother's pissed off. There's a war.
It's gonna get pushed.
I don't think so. They just had a trailer come out.
It's going to get pushed.
No, you know what? No, it's gonna be terrible, and the trailer's never going to come out, and they were going to hide it from all of us. Oh,
right. Remember that? That was like a thing that was supposed to happen, and then the trailer came out like the next day. Some site had an article because they had a confirmed rumor. Shh, we got sources, and they were just pulling it out of their ass, like a lot of sites do these days. Know your sources before you start quoting them. That's for sure. Yeah. So we got a trailer for it.
I like the first one a lot. Somehow I've missed sitting down and watching the trailer, the full trailer. I saw the teaser, but I haven't seen the full trailer yet.
Man, I got to say, everybody's been kind of, just hard on DC this year, and I get it. I think it's pretty much well-deserved. Like I said, James Gunn shouldn't have said that the universe was shutting down. That said, Aquaman 2... the trailer looks like Aquaman 1. It looks like a lot of fun, and it's more of a bromance with Patrick Wilson and Jason Momoa teaming up and going after Mamba number 5 or whatever the hell his name is. It looks visually stunning. The jokes look pretty funny. It's definitely having a lot of fun. At one point, you've got Aquaman folding laundry. I just think you finally made Aquaman interesting, and it just hasn't been a character I cared about at all. And I want to see Jason Momoa riding a frickin' seahorse. So I'm in. James Wan's back. He's exhausted from making this movie, but this movie is coming out this year in December. Definitely happening. If it's great and it does bonkers business, maybe they make a third one. I honestly don't know. Nobody knows. James Gunn's not telling. But Troy, I want to tell you the reason why I think they won't push it. I think they're number one, Christmas is a great market for a movie like this. There's a good chance it could actually catch a wave and carry business on through January. Same thing happened with Avatar. They make a lot of money day by day by day, so they can actually make a huge profit. And the first movie did really well at Christmas time. That said, if it does flop, they can do a clean wash this year of the DCU.
So to speak.
DCEU. Yeah, and just be done with it. And basically, write them off their books and be like, we're done. Now, clean slate, give it a year and a half, and a new movie will come out and relaunch everything. And if this one does flop, I will say there's virtually zero shot of Gal Gadot coming back. So her coming back hinges on if Aquaman does well. I think that really, they need to see that people want to see these characters again. And so far, they haven't seen that with any of the stuff that's come out. Blue Beetle didn't do very well, even if audiences loved it. Flash was a huge flop. They're just hemorrhaging money at this point. But they're still not paying their actors or the writers. Whatever. All right, so Maestro is a towering and fearless love story chronicling the lifelong relationship between cultural icon Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Coe-Bernstein. A love letter to life and art. Maestro at its core is an emotionally epic portrayal of family and love. And that's also, it has Carey Mulligan and, of course, Bradley Cooper, who also directed it. You know what? Bradley Cooper won me over with his last film, and Leonard Bernstein, I'm very curious about this story, and apparently his children absolutely love this movie. So
there's a huge article about how there was some backlash from people who weren't related to the Bernsteins for Bradley Cooper having a prosthetic nose, and the Bernstein family were like, no, that's cool, he needs that nose.
It's kind of a silly thing. I think people just want to be pissed about something.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's it.
Yeah.
It's people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's people.
That's why I don't like Christmas.
Makes totally no sense. December 22nd, Migration, an animated comedy about a family of ducks who convince their overprotective father to go on the vacation of a lifetime as they attempt to migrate from New England through New York City and ultimately down to the Bahamas. That's a dream. Also coming out, The Iron Claw, Van Eriks. The film follows the rise and fall of the Von Erich family, a dynasty of wrestlers making a huge impact on the sport from the 1960s to the present day. Zac Efron, Lily James, Jeremy Allen White. I'm sold on the cast. Also, Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, because Zack Snyder can't make things that don't need to be 6 parts. When a peaceful colony on the edge of a galaxy finds itself threatened by the armies of a tyrannical ruling force, Korra, played by Sofia Boutella, as a mysterious stranger living among the villagers, becomes their best hope for survival. Tasked with finding trained fighters who will unite with her and making an impossible stand against the mother world, Korra assembles a small band of warriors, outsiders, insurgents, peasants, and orphans of war from different worlds who share a common need for redemption and revenge. And as the shadow of an entire realm bears down on the unlikeliest of moons, a battle over the fate of the galaxy is waged. In the process, a new army of heroes is formed. This was originally Zack Snyder's pitch for a Star Wars film. Star Wars rejected it, so he made it his own. And if you've seen the trailer, phenomenally, visually looks stunning. So much freaking slow motion. Oh my God. It's like,
if Star Wars is to Marvel, then Rebel Moon is to DC.
Yeah. He goes full Zack Snyder. And there's freaking lightsabers in here. Troy, doesn't Star Wars have freaking lightsabers trademarked or something?
Nope.
They're not lightsabers. They're laser swords.
They're laser swords. They just can't call them lightsabers.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they get away with it. They look just like lightsabers.
They have hoods. They have robots. They have...
It's Star Wars.
They have laser guns, because you can't say phasers either. It's Star Wars. I mean, let's be clear. It's Star Wars.
I don't care. I'm going to watch this, and I'm going to be happy. It
looks great. It looks really, really good.
Yep.
Just sick of slow motion.
I don't care if it's got the slow motion. I'm going to be sitting there. There
hasn't been much Star Wars that's good. Why not watch something that looks like Star Wars?
I ain't got shit to do Christmas Day, man. I'm going to be watching the crap out of this.
Can we agree that Zack Snyder, it has gone a little bit to his head, though, all this Zack Snyder cut shit? Because he's already said that there will be director cuts of these movies coming later, even though Netflix already gave him full director's cut. Yeah, they already gave him final cuts on these. So technically, his director's cut should be whatever we see the first time. Let it go, man.
I don't know. It looks good.
It does look good.
I watched the trailer. I'm like, I'm in it. I hope there's a story, because the story seems very much like Star Wars, but the action looks great.
And you're getting at least one more movie of it.
Already announced that it was in the trailer when part 2 was coming out in March, I believe it was.
Yeah. I am here for it.
All of Us Strangers. One night in his near-empty tower block in contemporary London, Adam, played by Andrew Scott, has a chance to encounter with his mysterious neighbor Harry, played by Paul Mescal, that punctures the rhythm of his everyday life. As Adam and Harry get closer, Adam is pulled back to his childhood home, where it appears his long-dead parents are both living and look the same age as the day they died.
Ooh, that
30
sounds fascinating.
Years before. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. All right. Finally, this is it. Last week or day to worry about. December 25th, which is the day John hates, Christmas Day. Hates it. Hates everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Ferrari. It is the summer of 1957. Goes behind the spectacle of Formula One. Ex-racer Enzo Ferrari is in crisis. Bankruptcy threatens the factory he and his wife Laura built from nothing 10 years earlier. Their volatile marriage has been battered by the loss of their son, Dino, a year earlier. Ferrari struggles to acknowledge his son, Piero, with Alina Lardi. Meanwhile, his driver's passion to win pushes them to the edge as they launch into the treacherous 1,000-mile race across Italy. It's directed by Michael Mann and stars Adam Driver and Penelope Cruz.
Oh.
I don't care about this at all. I wish it did. I'd love to, but I don't.
I think it's cool.
Get me excited, Troy. Sell me.
I mean, like Ford versus Ferrari was actually really fun to watch.
That was.
So why wouldn't this continue that same kind of tradition of just understanding a little bit more history about these cars that really got us into the idea of fast is better and racing is cool, and especially when you think about a grueling race like the Mille Miglia to go 1,000 miles in Italy. I think that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm actually sold at Adam Driver, Michael Mann, and Penelope Cruz. Like that cast right there and that director gets my attention. Adam Driver is someone that I love to watch on screen, and so I'm more fascinated by it.
The reason why I'm not interested, it's very similar to my issue with Ridley Scott's Napoleon. I think Ridley Scott shoots everything visually stunningly well, but hasn't made a good, solid, entertaining movie in a while. Michael Mann hasn't made one in a frickin' long time. You know, here are his directorial efforts through 2004. Ferrari, Tokyo Vice, that's a TV show on Max, which is okay. Black Hat, which sucked. Luck, which was a TV series he did one episode of. Public Enemies, which was okay. Miami Vice, which was bad. And then Collateral in 2004. His last good movie was 2004. That's why I'm not excited.
Okay.
Maybe he just wasn't feeling the art for a while.
Just lost a little bit of the oomph.
Yeah. Aaron hasn't had a good podcast since, 2022. So
wow.
Maybe in 10 years, you'll have a good podcast again. I don't know.
Kiss my ass, bitch. Wow. All right. The Color Purple, a musical adaptation of Alice Walker's novel about the lifelong struggles of an African-American woman living in the South during the early 1900s. Directed by Blitz Bazawali and stars Taraji B. Henson, Halle Bailey, Coleman Domingo, and Corey Hawkins. I got to say, if you saw Little Mermaid, Halle Bailey is, she's a movie star. I really, truly believe she's got everything you need to be a movie star. So I'm fascinated to see how they're going to reinterpret this. Steven Spielberg did a wonderful job with the first Color Purple. This is going to be a different take on it, and I hope it's beautiful.
Crossing fingers.
Crossing fingers. Time will tell. But again, Halle Bailey should be a star at some point. I just think she's super talented. The Boys in the Boat, directed by George Clooney. The story, which is set in the 1930s, centers around the University of Washington's powerhouse rowing team. Wow. Exciting.
It could be. Like, rowing is a really tough sport, okay? So if you get into the culture of like where rowing comes from, and they bring this up and they talk about the competition, I mean, this could be like it won't be like Miracle because nothing beats Kurt Russell on ice.
You're right. Good call. Now you win. That's how you win me over right there. Get me on your side.
I mean, it's been a while since we've had like a Rudy or a Miracle or a Cool Runnings or something where it's like a sports movie to get behind.
It sounds silly, but this town that I live in has a huge rowing community that I didn't even realize it had until maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Apparently people show up from all over the world to row at the one of the parks here, and I didn't even know that was a thing.
Really?
Yeah, it's a huge event, and you can't get anywhere near the lake that they do it at when that happens. They built this huge observation tower just for it.
I did not know that.
Right. I didn't know it
at
either.
All.
But the observation tower you can't miss it because you're like, why is that building in the middle of a park? And then it's just this giant observation tower for it.
Okay.
Plus, it's set on a college campus in the Great Depression, and there's all kinds of storyline threads you can play off of this.
All right. So What are you most looking forward to? That was all the movies for the fall and holiday. That's a lot of movies. We get back to just normal conversation next week in our podcast. Thank God. But what are you most looking forward to?
Out of the whole back half of the year?
All those.
I mean, Rebel Moon looks fun. Gotta watch My Girlfriend.
It's my girlfriend.
Oh, boy.
We're not doing this again. I will fight you and kill you where you stand.
Wow. Number one, she would say no to both of us. Number two, the age discrepancy is probably alarming to some. And number three, we just made it weird. Go ahead.
Yeah, you
Continue.
just really wait. She's in her 30s, right? She's fine.
She is not in her 30s. No.
She's not?
I mean, it's really Taylor Swift for me.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Of course not. I would go see Taylor Swift if I could get a ticket to it. No, I mean, The Creator is definitely on my list for sure. And I do want to see Rebel Moon. And I think those are the big ones.
She's 30.
Okay. She turned 30 this year. She wasn't 30 when she made this movie. Therefore, it still makes it, I don't know. But she's 30 now. Yeah. So she's older. Cool. And it's sad that you took the time to look that up, John.
You're the guys fighting over. I was just trying to, like, it's okay for you guys to be about a girl who's half your age. It's fine.
Woman. She's not half my age, buddy. Relax. All right.
Oh, now she's not half your age.
Relax. Well, now that I know she's 30, yeah.
And 46 to 30 is totally fine because that is half plus 7. It's too old for Aaron. It's out of the range for Aaron, not out of the range for us, John.
Leave me the fuck out of your stupid math problem. All right.
It's been around for ages. It's not a stupid math problem.
Right. It's not a stupid math problem.
It's acceptable norm.
Right.
I would Ordinary Angels. I'm very interested in that. I love Alan Ritchson, but I also like the idea of the movie a lot. Kind of uplifting. But Killers of the Flower Moon, I think, is probably the most intriguing of all that's coming out the fall. And I'm really excited for Expendables 4. But that's more of, I'm ashamed to say it publicly, but it's true.
There's a lot here that I'm excited about. You know, but I've said very high things about my excitement for Rebel Moon Part 1. You know, and that's the only one I could think of because it's the most recent one we talked about, and everything else has gone poof.
Are you guys bummed that so much stuff was moved out of this year because of the strikes and stuff?
No.
The only thing I saw that was really moved that I cared about was, which I really didn't care about, but it was Dune.
You say that, but you mentioned Dune a whole lot, man. I'm thinking maybe you miss it more than you realize.
I really want to see what happens in the second movie because the second movie is where all the action is.
That's true. And I'm not bummed that things got pushed out because, again, more time to do what I want to do.
Fair enough. Is there any independent films or streaming originals we haven't talked about? I mean, I feel like I got most of
you covered a lot of them.
I mean, you covered a lot of them, but there's two that I found that I thought were very interesting. One of them is Anatomy of a Fall. A woman is suspected of her husband's murder, and their blind son faces the most moral dilemma that he has to face as a blind kid, I guess. Directed by Justine Treat, and this is an import from, I think it's a Scandi import. Looks really good, and October 13th this one comes out. Yeah, and that's in the theaters. And then November 3rd on Apple Plus and some limited theater runs, we have Fingernails. It was another one that caught my attention. Anna increasingly suspects that her relationship with her longtime partner may not actually be the real thing. In an attempt to improve things, she secretly embarks on a new assignment working on a mysterious institute designed to incite and test the presence of romantic love in increasingly desperate couples. I'm going to go ahead and say that she finds nothing because it's not a real thing. However, the trailer and the whole story does look interesting to me.
That has Annie Murphy in it.
It does have Annie Murphy in it.
She's not the star, but she's in it. Jesse Buckley, I think, is the star of that one. Interesting. And Jeremy Allen White again. That guy's popping up everywhere.
He's the one they should have chose for Wonka.
I disagree. I've seen that meme everywhere. You know, I just wish they chose no one for Wonka because I don't need it at all. But I like Timothée Chalamet.
You can't say his right name. He can't say his right name. That's how late it is, people. I'm starting to...
Timothée is actually how you say his name correctly. It's not Timothy.
It's not Timothy? It's
He's
Timothy?
French. It's Timothée. Yeah, go look it up.
Yeah,
that's actually
Timothée.
one I got right. So fuck off.
Well,
Troy, what about you?
That's
anything
fancy for me.
I haven't seen much about it because I'm still hoping that it comes out. But the final ever Hayao Miyazaki film, The Boy and the Heron, is supposed to be coming out in December. And I hope that holds. I've seen the teaser trailer and it looks amazing as always, like Hayao Miyazaki does. So I'm really hoping that still happens because it's great. And also I was interested in Taika Waititi's Next Goal Wins. It was supposed to be coming out November 17th. I hope that's still holding as well. Because that seems like that might be interesting.
That's Michael Fassbender again, right? That's soccer.
Yeah, and Elizabeth Moss and Will Arnett.
I'm intrigued, for sure. A couple quick ones I want to mention. Also on October 6th, because apparently there's like 64 movies coming out on that day. I don't understand what's so big about October 6th, but there we go. The Burial comes out for Prime Video on October 6th, stars Jamie Foxx and Tommy Lee Jones. And in 1995, Willie Gary, an unconventional personal injury lawyer with an impressive track record, helps bankrupt funeral home owner Jeremiah Joseph O'Keefe sue a large funeral home company, the Lowen Group, over a contractual dispute. I don't want to tell you what happens because it's pretty exciting, but I will say the trailer looks fantastic. It's Jamie Foxx doing what Jamie Foxx does best, and Tommy Lee Jones, scowling, because that's what he does best. But that looks great. And also Totally Killer comes out on October 6th on Prime as well, so Prime apparently is where I want to be on October 6th. 35 years after the shocking murders of 3 teens, an infamous killer returns on Halloween night to claim a 4th victim. When 17-year-old Jamie comes face-to-face with a masked maniac, she accidentally time travels back to 1987. It's Hot Tub Time Machine with murder. Forced to navigate the unfamiliar culture, Jamie teams up with her teenage mother to take down the psycho once and for all. Really, it's like Happy Death Day meets The Final Girls. And the trailer is also out, and it just looks fun. It just looks fun. What's your prediction? Biggest hit, biggest flop? This is where Troy and I got in a fight last year over Avatar 2, and he lost a bet, and he had to watch the whole season of Justified, and he's still only on episode 3.
It was never clearly delineated about when I needed to finish it by. I just had to watch it.
Yeah, apparently I need to be very clear about
the next time
that
this happens.
Yeah. Prediction for biggest hit and biggest flop, I will say the biggest hit is going to be Wonka, because I don't want anything to do with it, so of course it'll be the biggest movie ever. And my prediction for the biggest flop is Aquaman. I think DC has shot themselves in the foot way too hard this year. And James Gunn declaring the universe dead is, I think, a huge factor as to why people just don't care now.
I mean, you're talking biggest hit besides Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying.
No, I'm including Taylor Swift.
Okay, well then Troy just won.
Yeah. Taylor Swift is already like a $200 million opening weekend.
No, it's not. No, it's not. 100 million the last I saw.
Don't worry.
It's not even out yet.
It's got plenty of time to get to 200 million before October.
It does, but you got to remember, like, weekends fade fast. That's something that people are going to want to see the first weekend. Do you think it's going to continue for weeks and weeks and weeks? I don't. I think it'll fall fast.
They will go. They'll go in droves.
If you think it's going to beat Barbie, I'm willing to make a hard bet on that one, buddy.
I am not. I do not think it's going to be Barbie, but I think it's going to be.
You can't prove those
very
numbers.
Big. I think they're going to then once like the first 3 weeks goes by, then they release the karaoke version, and then there's sing-along versions that will be coming along, and dance parties in the theater.
Usually I want to say that Troy is an idiot when it comes to these outlandish ideas, but that's a good one.
Okay.
It happened with The Greatest Showman. Why wouldn't it happen with a concert tour?
Want to make a bet on Taylor Swift and how much it'll make and how much it won't make?
He's learned
it's north of 500.
North of 500. I'll bet you anything it never gets to 500 million. Domestic.
All right.
I was thinking 500 global.
I'll bet you anything it doesn't hit 400. It doesn't hit 400 million domestic.
Oh, so I was at 300 million domestic.
That's plausible. But I'll give you 350. I bet you it doesn't hit 350.
Okay, so you're taking the under 350. I'm taking the over 350.
Domestic.
Okay.
Domestic. Yeah, not worldwide. Domestic.
All right, gentlemen. These are the terms that are on the table. What are we?
What's the bet? What do you got?
As of what date does it have to hit 350? And like December 1st, January 1st, November 1st?
But it's run. I'd say it's run.
Okay, so it's theatrical run. It needs to hit north of 350 for Troy to win, and it's south of 350 for Aaron to win. What are your terms? Who gets what for winning?
I have to see a movie of Troy's choice, and he has to see a movie of my choice. Let's make it a movie, so it's not a series this time.
Okay.
And we can determine that when the winner is picked.
Yeah.
So you're gonna basically hold a go to the movies.
Oh yeah, it's totally or watch it at home, and it's gonna be something fucking awful. I'm gonna the bed that eats people. That's what's gonna shit like that. You know what I mean? It's gonna be bad.
Manos Hand of Fate.
Whatever, Troll 2, I don't give a shit. It's going to be something horrible. Just on principle.
Well, he's going to have to watch it 3 times in a row because it can't be any of those.
Got to watch it one, and it'll be like, and you got to give me specific details from it, stuff that isn't on Wikipedia.
Right.
It has to be a full movie review done on the podcast.
Right.
Yep. There we go. Bam.
All right.
Terms accepted?
Do we have a handshake?
Yeah, virtual one.
All right. I said a handshake, Troy. Whatever you're shaking is not okay. Aaron went first.
That's how you train for rowing, I think. Hey, guess what? That's it. We're done.
Thank Jesus.
Thank God, right? That's just so many movies. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why don't we just talk about Skittles or something?
I don't
because
know.
you type it up and you read it and then we just comment. So thanks for doing all the work. Appreciate you, buddy.
Somebody else could have chimed in with like, hey, let's do a different topic.
No, the fans love it.
Yeah, this is for the fans. This is what we do for the fans.
Is this for Nicole Kidman and that AMC
in her diamond striped suit?
Can we agree they need to re-record that goddamn thing? Right?
It's time. It is time.
It is not fun anymore.
That suit she's wearing is a little ridiculous with the diamond studded pinstripes.
It's like, we come to this place for you to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Please be quiet.
We come to this place to have the theater look like a disco ball.
I need them to calm down with some of the shit they're putting on the screen.
What do you mean?
Just the amount of content?
There's that. There's the here are these film students, and for those who can't see what my hands are doing, I'm doing air quotations right now. Here are these film students movie about drinking Coke and going to the movies.
Oh, you mean like the pre-roll content?
Yeah, all the pre-roll stuff. Like,
I don't get that. I get Maria Menounos.
Well, that's fine, because I'm talking about like you get the trailers, but before the trailers, you've got to deal. Well, actually, before the trailers, you got to deal with the whole like, here's why you should be drinking Coke or snorting Coke or something.
Oh, that's where you don't understand, John. I'm married to a Latina. Therefore, I've never made it before the trailers.
Oh.
Because it would be against the law to actually be on time.
Oh, yeah, see.
Yeah. Troy's trying not to laugh into the mic. Because he knows how true it is.
Because your wife is a Latina and she'll come and kick my ass if I laugh at that.
This is why I've never been able to get along with the rest of the Latin culture, because like my time blindness is so bad that I pay way too much attention to time blindness or to time, because I know how bad I can get if I'm not paying attention to it. So that's why I get places on time. I start getting itchy about it. I got to go.
Fair enough. You should point out you are part of Latin culture. Otherwise, people.
I said the rest of the. Ooh, speaking of Latin culture, I didn't talk about this shit yet. If you guys want to relive some of my childhood trauma, if you go to Netflix, there's a show called Spy Ops, right? And if you watch the second episode of Spy Ops, you get to live what I lived through up until the winter of, which I guess I don't really need to call it winter because Panama doesn't have those, but still, 1987 is when we moved to the States. That was just before the United States said, hey, we got a good idea, we're going to invade Panama. But before all of that shit, there's a whole lot of like rioting and people dying on the streets and just all it's a blast. So if you want to relive my trauma, watch that. It's Spy Ops episode 2, Operation Just Cause. I enjoyed it. It was a good time. I like it.
I'm sold, man. You didn't have to do much more after that.
Yeah.
And we don't have to do much more after this because we are done. Everybody have a wonderful time at the movies. Enjoy. And remember, the next time you head to the theater or watch some of the stuff on Netflix or Hulu or Max or whatever, buy popcorn.
Buy popcorn.
That's what I said. I literally just said that.
Oh, did you?
Bye, popcorn. I'll miss you.
I hope you got stale popcorn.